Perspective, the podcast where we delve into the issues shaping our generation. I'm Amira.
And I'm Tiara. Today's episode, we're talking about the sport, personal, and global the addictive side of gaming. While video games are celebrated for creativity and connection, they can also lead to real struggles with mental health when boundaries aren't set.
Okay, stories of gaming addiction are becoming more common. Students skipping school, losing touch with loved ones, and in extreme cases, facing severe consequences like depression. Today we ask what can be done to create healthier relationship with gaming.
We're thrilled to welcome two fellow students to help us explore this issue. First, we have Muti, who brings valuable insights into why gaming addiction happens, and joining her is Zura, a passionate gamer with first-hand experience. Welcome, Muti and Zura.
Hi guys, my name is Mutia Zara Fauzi. I'm psychology student in University of Jakarta. Thanks for having me, guys.
Okay, my name is Najwa Zura. You can call me Zura. I'm psychology student at State Jakarta of University. Thank you, Tiara and Amira. I'm excited to be here.
Hey, let's start with the big picture. Muti, why do games become so addictive for some people?
It's a combination of factors. Game are designed to keep you hooked. They have reward, social interaction, and goals that make you feel accomplished. For some kids, especially those dealing with stress or loneliness, gaming becomes an escape from reality. The problem is when that escape become their only coping mechanism. Over time, this can lead to isolation, depression, and in extreme case, suicidal thoughts.
Okay, Zura, as someone who loves gaming, what's your take on this?
Okay, gaming can be amazing. It's creative, social, and fun. But Mukti right, it's also a double-edged sword. When you're in a tough place mentally, it's easy to lose yourself in a game. I've seen friends play for days without stopping, neglecting their health and relationship. It's a problem we don't talk about enough in the gaming community.
Okay, Muti, do you think certain games or genres are more addictive than others? What makes them stand out?
Yes, definitely. Games like battle royales tend to be more addictive because they have designed for long-term engagement. They offer constant rewards and a sense of achievement, making it hard to stop.
Okay, let's talk about parents. Muti, what role do you think parents should play in preventing gaming addiction?
Parents are crucial. The key is balance, being involved without being controlling. They need to understand why their child is gaming so much. Is it stress from school, trouble making friends? Once they know the root cause, they can help their child find healthier ways to cope.
Zura, do you think parents often misunderstand gaming? How can they change their perspective to connect better with their children?
Yes, I think so. Many parents see gaming as just a distraction, but it can be much more like a way to socialize or relax. They need to see the positive too and have open, non-judgmental conversation with their kids about gaming habits.
Okay, Zura, did your parents ever step in with your gaming habits?
Oh, absolutely. I remember once I was gaming way too much during exams. Instead of yelling, my mom asked me why I was avoiding studying. That conversation made me realize I was stressed and procrastinating, and she helped me set a schedule and it worked.
Okay, Muti, any tips for parents struggling with this issue?
Yes, first set boundaries like time limits for gaming, but involve your child in creating those rules so they feel respected. Encourage them to try other activities like sport, art, or clubs. And if the addiction is severe, don't hesitate to seek professional help.
Okay, the stories of kids taking drastic action because of gaming addiction are tragic. Zura, do you think the gaming industry should take more responsibility?
Definitely. Some companies are starting to add features like playtime limits or reminds to take breaks, but it's not enough. There's need to be more awareness about the risk of excessive gaming, especially for younger audience.
Okay, Muti, do you believe schools should address gaming addiction as part of their mental health programs?
Absolutely. School can create workshop or discussion for raise awareness. Peer support groups could also help students share experience and find healthier coping mechanism.
Okay, but what about us as students and gamers? How can we help create a healthier gaming culture?
It starts with being honest about our own habits, normalize taking breaks and talking about mental health, check in on friends who might be overdoing it, and if you're struggling, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's hear your final thought. Muti, what message do you want to leave for the listeners?
Gaming isn't the enemy, but moderation is key. For parents, being supportive and proactive can make all the difference. And for anyone struggling, remember there's no shame in seeking help.
Okay, but what about user?
Gaming is meant to be fun, not harmful. Let's work on creating a culture where we celebrate balance and prioritize mental health over high scores.
Okay, Rosa, thank you both for sharing your insight and experience. This has been such an important conversation.
Okay, to our listener, remember, gaming can be part of a healthy life, but when it starts taking over, it's time to hit pause. Let's all strive for balance and support each other.
Thank you for tuning into Student Perspective and see you next time.
See you next time. Thank you guys. Yay.